It was an unusually cold winter evening in Washington, D.C., as snowflakes drifted lazily from the sky, covering the streets in a soft white blanket. Inside a McDonald's just a few blocks from the White House, Lisa Carter, a 22-year-old college student working the night shift, was rushing to serve the growing line of customers. The holidays were approaching, which meant more people were stopping by for a quick meal on their way home. Lisa had been working at McDonald's for almost 2 years, juggling her job and evening classes in finance at Georgetown University. Though the job wasn't glamorous, she took pride in providing good service, always greeting customers with a smile. She never imagined that one particular customer that night would change her life forever. Around 8:30 p.m., the glass door swung open, and in walked a tall teenager in a hoodie, his face partially covered by a scarf. He was alone, which was unusual for a boy of his age in this part of the city. He looked a bit lost, his blue eyes scanning the menu before stepping up to the counter. Lisa smiled warmly. "Hey there, what can I get for you?" The boy hesitated for a moment, then pulled out his phone. Can I get a Big Mac, large fries, and a Coke?" His voice was deep but polite, carrying a faint European accent. As Lisa punched in the order, she noticed something strange. He wasn't carrying a wallet. The boy patted his pockets, growing visibly nervous. I think I left my wallet in the car," he muttered. He looked embarrassed, stepping aside to check his phone, possibly to call someone for help. Lisa, without hesitation, smiled and said, "It's on me. Don't worry about it." The boy looked up, stunned. "Wait, really? You don't have to do that. It's just a meal," Lisa said, waving it off. "Besides, everyone needs a little kindness sometimes." The boy hesitated, then smiled. "Thank you, really. I appreciate it." Lisa handed him his tray, and he quickly took a seat in the corner. She didn't think much of it. She'd helped people before. But what she didn't realize was that the teenager she had just served was Barron Trump, the son of the sitting U.S. president. What happened next would change her life forever. Lisa went back to work, helping the next customers in line, completely unaware of who she had just served. The McDonald's remained busy for another hour before the late-night rush started slowing down. As Lisa wiped down the counters, she glanced over at the corner booth where the teenager was still sitting, sipping his Coke. He seemed deep in thought, occasionally looking around as if waiting for someone. A few minutes later, the door swung open again, and 2 sharply dressed men in black suits and earpieces stepped inside. Their presence immediately caught Lisa's attention. They looked like government agents. The moment they entered, they locked eyes with the teenager, and one of them rushed over to him. Lisa watched as the man spoke softly to the boy, who nodded and stood up. That's when she noticed it, the small golden badge clipped to the agent's belt. Her heart skipped a beat. Secret Service. "Oh my God!" she whispered under her breath. The realization hit her like a freight train. The boy she had just given a free meal to was Barron Trump. Before she could process it, Barron turned back toward her and gave a small, appreciative nod. "Thanks again," he said, before walking out with the agents. Lisa stood frozen, her mind racing. The son of the president had just sat in her McDonald's, and she had unknowingly paid for his meal. She didn't think much of it at first, but a nagging thought lingered in her mind. Would this get her in trouble? Would the Secret Service think she had done something wrong? The rest of her shift passed in a blur. When she finally clocked out at midnight, she walked home in the cold, still trying to wrap her head around what had happened. She figured that was the end of it, just a weird, once-in-a-lifetime encounter. But she had no idea that her simple act of kindness was about to make headlines. By the time Lisa woke up the next morning, her phone was flooded with messages. Her social media notifications had exploded, hundreds of new followers, comments, and mentions. Confused, she clicked on the first message from her best friend, Mia. "Mia, girl, check Twitter now." Lisa's stomach twisted in knots as she opened Twitter. Right at the top of the trending page was a post from a major news outlet. "McDonald's employee shows kindness to Barron Trump. First Lady responds." She gasped. Scrolling down, she found a video someone had recorded at the restaurant. The footage wasn't great, but it clearly showed Lisa taking Barron's order, him struggling to pay, and her smiling as she waved off his concern. But what truly shocked her was the tweet from Melania Trump herself. "Kindness goes a long way. Thank you, Lisa Carter, for helping my son last night. You have a heart of gold. United States blue heart." Lisa's hands shook as she stared at the tweet. The First Lady knew her name. Within hours, news stations were covering the story. "Random act of kindness from a fast food worker becomes national news," was the headline on CNN. Fox News ran a segment called America's Kindness. How one small gesture inspired the nation. Lisa's face was everywhere. Reporters began showing up outside her apartment. Her McDonald's manager called, saying corporate wanted to talk to her. People on social media were calling her America's sweetheart. But the biggest surprise was yet to come. That evening, Lisa received a private email from an official White House address. The subject line? Invitation from the First Lady. She nearly dropped her phone. The message was brief but direct. "Dear Ms. Carter, my husband and I would love to personally thank you for your kindness toward our son. Please join us at the White House this weekend for a special dinner. Sincerely, Melania Trump." Lisa's breath caught in her throat. The President and First Lady wanted to meet her. Her life had just taken a turn she never could have imagined. Lisa could hardly believe what was happening. The White House, a personal invitation from the First Lady? It all felt surreal. After taking a deep breath, she replied to the email accepting the invitation. Within hours, a follow-up message arrived, providing details on her visit. A black car with government plates would pick her up Saturday evening and take her directly to the White House. Her friends and co-workers were in shock. "Lisa, you're about to have dinner with the President of the United States," Mia screeched over the phone. Lisa had no idea what to wear to such an event. She had never even been near the White House before. After a quick shopping trip, she settled on a simple but elegant navy blue dress and heels. On Saturday evening, just as promised, a black SUV pulled up outside her apartment. The driver, a serious-looking man in a suit, opened the door for her. "Ms. Carter, welcome. Ready for an unforgettable evening?" She wasn't sure if she was ready, but she nodded anyway. The drive to the White House was smooth, but her nerves skyrocketed the moment the massive gates loomed ahead. After a brief security check, she was escorted inside. The grandeur of the White House took her breath away. Every hallway gleamed, decorated with historic paintings and lavish chandeliers. She was led into a private dining room, where a long table was set with crystal glasses and elegant silverware. Then the door opened. In walked Melania Trump, looking as graceful as ever in a stunning white gown. Behind her was President Donald Trump, wearing his signature suit and tie. And finally, a smiling Barron Trump. Lisa's heart pounded as she quickly stood. "Lisa Carter," President Trump said in his unmistakable voice. "We've heard a lot about you. You're famous now." Lisa blushed. "It's an honor to meet you, Mr. President, Mrs. Trump." Melania stepped forward and took Lisa's hands in hers. "No, the honor is ours," she said warmly. "What you did for Barron was simple but so meaningful. Not everyone would have done that." Lisa glanced at Barron, who smiled. "I was seriously panicking," he admitted. "You saved me from ultimate embarrassment." Lisa laughed. "Hey, it happens to the best of us." They all took their seats and the dinner began. Surprisingly, the conversation was casual. President Trump talked about business and his own experiences working as a young man. Melania asked Lisa about her studies, and Barron talked about his love for video games. Halfway through dinner, Melania turned to Lisa and said, "We want to do something for you." Lisa's eyes widened. "Oh, that's really not necessary." "But it is," Melania insisted. "You've shown kindness, and kindness should be rewarded. We'd like to offer you a scholarship to complete your college education, fully funded." Lisa gasped. The president nodded. "I know how tough college is. You work hard, and we think you deserve a little help." Lisa's hands flew to her mouth. A full scholarship? From the White House? This was beyond anything she could have dreamed. Tears welled in her eyes as she stammered. I don't even know what to say. Thank you. This is life-changing. Melania smiled. You changed our son's day with a small act of kindness. Now we're happy to change your life in return. Lisa could barely process what was happening. She had started the week as an ordinary McDonald's cashier. Now she was having dinner with the first family and receiving a scholarship from the President of the United States. And the surprises weren't over yet. Lisa sat frozen, overwhelmed with emotion. A full scholarship? Just days ago, she was stressing over tuition payments, trying to balance school and work, wondering if she'd ever be able to afford her dream of becoming a financial analyst. Now, the first family of the United States had just erased that struggle with a single act of generosity. I don't know how to thank you, Lisa finally said, her voice shaking. President Trump leaned back in his chair with a satisfied smile. Just keep being a great person. Work hard, graduate, and do something amazing with your life. That's thanks enough. Melania reached over and patted Lisa's hand. We believe in rewarding good people. And you, Lisa, are a good person. Barron grinned. Yeah. And now I won't have to feel guilty every time I eat a Big Mac. Laughter filled the room, easing Lisa's nerves. The dinner continued, and as the evening wound down, Lisa was given a special tour of the White House. She walked through the historic halls, standing where past presidents had made monumental decisions. She even got to peek inside the Oval Office, something she never imagined she'd see in real life. Before she left, Melania handed Lisa a sealed envelope. This is your official scholarship confirmation. Everything has been arranged. Expect a call from your university soon. Lisa clutched the envelope to her chest. Thank you so much. I'll never forget this. Melania gave her a warm smile. Neither will we. Barron chuckled. I definitely won't. Next time I forget my wallet, I'm calling you. Lisa smirked. Deal. As she stepped outside into the cold night air, she took a deep breath, letting everything sink in. In just a few days, her entire life had changed. Her phone buzzed with a text from Mia. Mia, OMG, just saw you on the news. You were in the freaking White House. Lisa laughed. She had gone viral for an act of kindness, and in return, she had been given a future she never thought possible. As she climbed into the SUV waiting to take her home, she looked out the window at the glowing White House, knowing that this was just the beginning. Because kindness, no matter how small, always comes back in ways you'd never expect.